I think my first realization, or even first real experience with depression, came this past year.
I suffer from symptoms of PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I've probably really been calling it that only, or calling it by what it really is, for maybe a few months now.
This country where we feel underappreciated and we feel less, it's kind of hard to think that they could care about our problems and want to seek help from someone. And when you're put in the hands, you just view everybody in that position as an enemy. And so you have a negative outlook. And that's why I personally didn't seek help.
Historically, African Americans have been sort of abused by the system. If we look at the Tuskegee Project, we look at those things that historically, slavery for that matter.
We face some discrimination, we face different hardships like socioeconomic at greater levels than other groups, and so as a result that certainly can contribute to depression and different stress, anxiety, all kinds of things, because at some level you're doing the best you can, but you're not really given the same opportunities, or having to deal with racism, whether that's institutional, whether that's, overt in your face, where other groups don't necessarily experience it.
Most of the time people associate seeking out mental health services with having weaknesses, and sometimes people think that there's a choice between seeking out mental health services and religious affiliation or relying on God. Most of the time people who indicate or verbalize to their parents or leaders in their community that they need mental health services, their feelings and their thoughts are discounted, and they're simply told to go pray. And there are so many stigmas already attached to being African American, and the last thing a person wants is to have an additional ding as that they're to indicate that they might be weak or that they might be lacking in all of the tools they need to just basically function and manage in life. So people tend to ignore mental health symptoms, and they tend to cover them up.
Kind of afraid to go to a therapist because I don't want to end up again talking to someone and they hear everything and then they're like, well, you have this and let's prescribe you this, and I don't want to take medicine.
I think it's important to be able to have somewhere to go, have therapy to seek, and be able to correct these problems before they snowball into the same type of situation as mine, where you start to hurt people around you. And that's one of the things that gets overlooked a lot, is if people don't know you're going through something, then it's hard for them to understand what you're going through.
It's daily battle, but all it is chemicals, I swear. It's not you, it's not the devil, it's chemicals. And a lot of older generations think it's the devil, especially in the black community, because they don't understand. That's how they were raised. They didn't get the access that we have to medical anything, honestly.
If your leg was broken and you needed pain medication, or you had a chronic disease like sickle cell and you had to take medication, in that case, does that mean that that medication is the devil and that it's harmful? No. So why do we only have this misconception when it comes to mental health medications? We suffer a lot of trauma, and that trauma comes from even watching TV. When we see black men murdered by police, you see all these things on TV. That's like a vicarious trauma. So when people experience trauma, they need to be able to process it and deal with it. And I don't think that we do that. I think that those things, that trauma keeps being reinforced, and that trauma can be whether that's domestic violence, sexual abuse, rape, systemic racism. All those things are traumatic, and so if you don't deal with them, of course they're going to manifest into something bigger. And so I would just caution everybody and just say, give counseling a chance. You one of my experiences that I have students who are kind of reluctant to come in, and then when they come, then I can't get rid of them because they love coming and they didn't realize the benefits of therapy. And so I would just say, give it an opportunity. And if you want somebody to provide therapy who looks like you, do some research and find somebody, because they can help.
Just get the help that you need.